NASCAR is investigating a horrible incident.
A hate crime almost as bad and almost as real as the attack on Jussie Smollett.
Outrage from all corners of the sporting world.
A noose was found in driver Bubba Wallace's garage at Talladega Superspeedway in Lincoln, Alabama on Sunday.
An area restricted to only essential personnel.
NASCAR is trying to find out who carried out an abhorrent racist act.
I spoke to a senior NASCAR official just a few moments ago. They're going to find who this person is. They're going to eliminate this person from the sport forever.
Late last night, he released the following statement. He said, in part, today's despicable act of racism and hatred leaves me incredibly saddened and serves as a painful reminder of how much further we have to go as a society and how persistent we must be in the fight against racism.
Wallace added in response to the news, quote, "This will not break me. I will not give in, nor will I back down. I will continue to proudly stand for what I believe."
I'd be surprised if many, if not any, African Americans were surprised.
NASCAR is often considered a sport that is tethered to white folk, tethered to the South.
I still don't know how my battery has enough juice in it to keep going on my phone and mentally and physically. I just mentally drained, physically drained, but all in all, it's okay. It's just part of the process.
To hang a noose, which is a symbol of lynching and killing somebody because of the color of their skin, shows real hatred and real bigotry. And by doing it, they confirm the very reason why we're marching all over the country.
When you grow up black in this country, you get used to things like this, and obviously much worse.
We're going to tell the world this happened, and we're going to get this SOB the hell out of here. And that's what they're doing right now. They're working with the information that they have at their disposal.
There was a pretty incredible show of support for NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace before the Cup Series race in Alabama today.
It was a powerful symbol, solidarity and unwavering fidelity for both sport and driver. It was all in support of NASCAR driver Bubba Wallace, the sport's lone African-American driver whose garage was the scene of an apparent despicable act on Sunday.
This is what takes somebody who's a relatively, unknown outside of the NASCAR world, driver, and turns them into a legend. He, much like Kaepernick, where Kaepernick's, was kneeling, during the anthem. I got noticed to Bubba because of his, issues with the flag. It was the Confederate flag, but again, he had a lot of support. And when you see this on TV, I think that it is so good for everyone. I think that it's so good for the sport. And I think that Bubba is the kind of guy where that NASCAR audience, you wonder who's going to be able to connect the issues that are going on in the world right now to a NASCAR audience. And he was there the whole time.
I could care less. I could give two craps about that.
He's the guy. He's the guy. I love this.
NASCAR statement Monday afternoon saying very clearly that they are proud to have Wallace in the NASCAR family and commend his courage and leadership. The statement goes on to state NASCAR continues to stand tall with Bubba, our competitors, and everyone who makes our sport welcoming and inclusive for all racing fans.
An investigation has revealed that the Noose found hanging in the garage of NASCAR's only full-time black driver on Sunday, that Noose had been there since last year.
The FBI investigated. The whole thing turned out to be completely fraudulent.
What would you say to those people who are doubting that this even happened or that it's true?
I'm not shocked. People are entitled to their own opinion to make them feel good, whatever, help them sleep at night. It's simple-minded people like that, the ones that are afraid of change. They use everything in their power to defend what they stand up for. And instead of trying to listen and understand what's going on, and like I said, it's still an ongoing investigation. We're still trying to figure out whoever did this crazy act, trying to pinpoint it on somebody.
Talladega has a new garage area, $50 million renovation. So you would assume there's a lot of cameras in there, man. They're looking at all that now. They're talking to people who might have information, and they're determined to get to the bottom of who or whom this might be and get them out of here.
There's security cameras everywhere So, and they're even tighter now with the situation that they're in with COVID, that, you know, where people are allowed to go is very limited. So I wouldn't think it would be that hard to figure out who did this.
That so-called noose was a door pull that had been in that garage 2 years earlier before it was even assigned to him.
It, in fact, was a noose.
Oh, why is that rope on the garage door? Oh, well, because when you pull it, the door goes down.
It was definitely in the shape of a noose.
You would give it a little pull and the garage door would come down. It was not a noose. It was just a garage pull string.
From the evidence that we have, that I have, it's a straight up noose.
It wasn't a noose. It was a little tie to pull the door down.
It was a noose. It was a noose that was whether tied in 2019 or whatever. It was a noose.
That is just a loop to pull the door down.
Hey, that's a little too skinny for anybody to get their head through.
That is a noose.
It's not a noose, buddy. Nice try. It's not a noose. It actually isn't even technically, physically speaking, a noose. There's a very specific, a noose is supposed to have a certain effect. You wouldn't set up a noose for a garage pole because it would be squeezing and hurting your hand every time you used it. It's not a noose.
The FBI mobilized a force of 15 men.
Well, for the record, authorities determined a noose was not found in Wallace's garage.
They act like every time a black person sees a knot that looks anything like a noose, that we just fall to pieces. Oh my God, they're out to kill us. They're out to kill us. There's a knot at the end of a rope.
At this big ceremony, pushed this man's car in front of everybody to show solidarity for something that never happened. Y'all owe everybody an apology.
If this was a story about how America hates racism, that'd be fine because America does hate racism. In fact, America hates racism so much that if somebody declares that a hate crime has happened and it didn't, the entire country will mobilize around that person and treat them as a victim of American racism just to prove that America's not racist.
I'm pissed, I'm angry, I am hurt, I'm sad, and I'm going to talk about it.
Everybody crying. They crying. They crying for Bubba. Yeah, Bubba crying. I just heard the news, Bubba. Somebody put a damn noose in your garage? Oh, man, Bubba, I don't stand with racism, Bubba.
The New York Times canonized Wallace yesterday by arguing his wearing of T-shirts and promotion of slogans in support of George Floyd, Eric Garner, and Black Lives Matter raised Wallace from relative obscurity to national prominence. Times wrote that Wallace told them a year ago that he'd given little to no thought about his blackness until the Black Lives Matter movement became hyper popular over social media. Times, I'm quoting here, that changed in 2020 after Wallace watched the video of the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, a black man who was shot while jogging in a mostly white neighborhood in Georgia. Wallace said he was stirred to think more deeply about racial dynamics of his country and his sport and to finally speak out.
Almost immediately, he has Black Lives Matter plastered across his car. He has, you'll see there, I can't breathe on his shirt.
Bubba has been outspoken about the Black Lives Matter movement the last couple of weeks. He did call on NASCAR to ban the Confederate flag.
Having a voice, having a platform, being vocal, standing up for what I believe is right, standing up for a race that feels defeated, that is afraid to speak out because they don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to see my people go down like that. I want to stand up for them. I want to stand up with them, arm in arm, hand in hand, to show that, hey, I have a voice and I'm going to create change in my sport and my community. And I want you guys to be a part of it. I told my team I had ordered the Black Lives Matter t-shirt and I wasn't even going to tell them. And they kind of latched on. It's definitely been well received from my peers and people who I work with. I'm pissed. I'm mad because people are trying to test my character and the person that I am and my integrity.
Between 2015 and 2018, there were 6 high-profile so-called hate crimes involving nooses. All of them were promoted heavily by the media. Every one of them turned out to be a hoax. Every single one of them. And that's not even counting Jussie Smollett.
When you have a voice and you have a platform, people are going to try to take that away from you with all their power. I will always have the motivators to go out there and to try to dethrone me from the pedestal that I am on.
In the end, as you may have heard, it was, needless to say, yet another Noose hoax.
The only racial turmoil in recent years was when BLM burnt the country down last year.
Let's get it straight. This wasn't a used as a publicity stunt on my end. I don't need all the fame.
The agenda is that America is systemically racist, and we don't care what the facts are.